Welcome back. I have to say, in standing up here, like looking at this entire theater filled with people, it's refreshing. It's refreshing to come together as a community. I know President Graham mentioned that as well, but it is. It's like a baby step in coming back to where we belong, where we should be. Anyway, this year we will be giving our Justice and Peace Award to Dr. Michelle Paige, who Dr. Minogue will be introducing in a few minutes. But first I'd like to say a little bit about the award and a little bit about the mission and what this is rooted in. So, think about it. Every day we say the mission statement. And we begin by saying, rooted in the mission of Jesus. This is how we begin our description of the school's mission. But what is the mission of Jesus? And what was the mission of Jesus? And how is it with us today? The central part of that mission was to inaugurate the kingdom of God here on earth. And we're called to continue that work here today. And so how should we understand the kingdom of God? What is it? Many people associate it with heaven, and yes, it is in heaven. But Jesus also emphasized that it's present here on earth. And he calls us to make it present here on earth. In the words of the Lord's Prayer, he says, "Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven." And this is just one of many times that he said. I was even struck by the gospel today. And in the gospel, we heard the Beatitude, and I think Father Hanley kind of struck the tone perfectly, because he talked about a blessed community, the blessed community where people who have been left behind by the powerful are included in God's kingdom. They are included in God's justice. So it's important to understand that the kingdom of God is not a place, it's not heaven, but it's in heaven. But what it actually is a new reality that's based on God's will for a love that excludes no one. What would the world look like with this world of inclusive love? What if that became a reality? Many have dared to envision such a world. During the Civil Rights era, the cry was to express and create a blessed or beloved community. How well does that go with today's gospel reading? Create a blessed or a beloved community. In more recent times, Pope Francis, in his encyclical Laudato Si, called for the creation of a civilization of love. These are expressions of what the kingdom or the reign of God actually is. So this is what Jesus inaugurated. The kingdom of God, the will to create communities built on inclusive love. And so here at Sacred Heart, the mission of Jesus continues with the call to love inclusively. And we don't do it perfectly, but that is our call, that's our challenge, and that's what we have to work on. And so every one of you is part of that Sacred Heart community, the blessed community. And as imperfect as we are, we're called to make sure that no one is left behind. So we don't want anyone to feel that they're forgotten. We don't want anyone to feel that they're left out of the Sacred Heart family, because you're not. You're not. You're all part of who we are, and you make up who we are. And so this idea of inclusive love, unity in the midst of diversity, to make reconciliation a reality, and to seek a world of justice and peace is about what our school is about. And that's part of the mission statement that we hear every day. Now, over the years, many people who have been part of the Sacred Heart family have strived to do these things, and in that way making that kingdom of God that Jesus talked about a reality. In 2015, we began the Justice and Peace Award by honoring Sister Regina Cole, who taught math here. And she participated in a march organized by Martin Luther King, Dr. Martin Luther King, and others. A march from Selma to Montgomery, Alabama, for voting rights. And once again, this idea of not excluding people from communities, but building communities where everyone is loved. And that's what inclusive love is about. So since that time, we've honored many other people. with this award, and this year the Mission Committee has decided to honor a Sacred Heart alum, Dr. Michelle Paige. And right now, Dr. Minogue is going to introduce her for this Justice and Peace Award. Thank you very much.
She is one of our own, our very own. Good morning to everyone here, our Sacred Heart community, and a special welcome to our honored guests. It is my great honor today to introduce this year's recipient of the Sacred Heart Academy Justice and Peace Award. Dr. Michelle Paige is an exceptional woman who has achieved exceptional success while devoting her professional and personal talents to the betterment of others. All of us at Sacred Heart are so proud to call this prestigious alum one of our own. As you, the young women of the classes of 2022 and 2025, listen to her myriad accomplishments, realize that not so very long ago, she sat where you are sitting today, sharing many of the hopes and dreams that you now hold in your heart. She is a shining example of ambition rightly directed, of potential fully realized, and simply said, of a woman who leads with heart. Dr. Paige hails from Baldwin, New York, but never passes up the chance to declare that she was born in Queens and spent many of her formative years in her favorite New York borough. She went on to attend St. Agnes Elementary School and then joined over 30 classmates to begin her high school career at Sacred Heart. She earned her undergraduate degree from St. John's University and graduate degrees from Queens College, both degrees and New York State certification in pre-K and elementary education. She received her doctorate of education in her Doctor of Education degree, in executive leadership from St. John Fisher College. Additionally, she holds professional certificates in Columbia University Senior Leadership Program for nonprofit professionals. Most recently, Dr. Paige enrolled in Howard University's Coaching Diversity Institute and will soon receive certification as a diversity coach. Among these awe-inspiring credentials, Dr. Paige is most proud of being the daughter of Louis and Cynthia, mom to Jerry and Evan, sister of Lou, Rob, and Brian, and sister friend to an awesome group of amazing women, many of them SHA alumni. If you remember, on Tuesday at our opening day assembly, our president, Mrs. Graham, defined a leader as one who helps others to feel fully alive. Dr. Paige is the essence of that definition, as she has chosen to dedicate her passion and career to education. This journey began over 25 years ago as a public school teacher in Queens and has transitioned into leadership roles in New York's early childhood programs. Dr. Paige remains active in various sectors of education and public engagement. She is proud to serve as an adjunct professor at Lehman College, is an active member of the Daycare Council of New York's Advisory Committee, and is a member of the organization Black Agency Executives. But today, the main focus of Dr. Paige's professional life is her role as Chief Program and Equity Officer for University Settlement, a large nonprofit agency with 135 years of community partnership in the Lower East Side. University Settlement, as stated on its website, helps those in need to, and I quote, build on their strengths as they achieve healthy, stable, and remarkable lives while fighting poverty and systemic inequality. In other words, Dr. Paige has devoted her energies to making others feel fully alive. Exactly what we wish for each and every one of our young women, precisely what we hope you will claim as your life mission in whatever career path you may choose, along whatever paths life may lead you. For like you, she is a daughter, sister, friend. And someday, like her, you will be negotiating those roles along your own professional responsibilities. Dr. Paige happily credits Sacred Heart with fostering her commitment to meaningful engagement. As a student, Michelle was a member of the volleyball team, managed the basketball team, took part in the travel club and sports night, which was the predecessor of Red and Gold. She was part of Gold dance and aerobics team, while maintaining many friendships among Red team members. She engaged in DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion work here at SHA long before that term became popular. She created posters to honor Black History Month and helped to organize assemblies to heighten and deepen social consciousness throughout the month of February. She describes her experience in SHA as well-rounded, as she was determined to supplement her academic achievements, and she earned sufficient college credit while at SHA to enable her to graduate from St. John's a semester early, with involvement in co-curricular activities. This commitment has laid her foundation for her operative mindset when engaging in committees at work, activities at her children's schools, or simply when organizing activities for family and friends. Dr. Paige has fond memories of the teachers who mentored her here at Sacred Heart. As she says, especially her Spanish teacher, Senor Gutierrez, her math teacher, Ms. Maria Tikas, her dance instructor, Mrs. Margie Morales, and her English teachers, Sisters Catherine Immaculate and Miriam Lucille. Dr. Paige says she still remembers the high expectations each had for his or her students, and how each and every one demonstrated a love for the subject they taught and a love for their students. Dr. Paige recalls, and I quote from her, "I particularly enjoyed my English courses," and this warms my heart, "because they supported my love for reading. Sister Catherine Immaculate and Sister Miriam Lucille are two teachers I recall and appreciated. Their curriculum and reading selections reflected diversity, genre, and content." These two sisters of St. Joseph were not only Michelle's teachers, but my mentors as well. So we share our great admiration for the two of them. They, along with countless colleagues past and present, sought and continued to seek, and I quote, "to listen deeply to all perspectives while engaged with every individual holistically, creating a space for people to organize, to join together to advocate for justice and equality." End quote. No, that is not part of the Sacred Heart mission statement, but it could be. That is not the curriculum mandate, but it could be. It is the stated goal of University Settlement, the organization to which Dr. Paige is indispensable. But it certainly sounds like what goes on in so many of our classrooms day in and day out. Dr. Paige, I like to think that you have come full circle, returning home to your alma mater, where you learned what you were taught, and now teach what you have learned. It is my distinct honor and a joy to present to you the 2021 recipient of Sacred Heart Academy's Justice and Peace Award, our very own, and your alum sister, Dr. Michelle Paige.
First of all, I want to say, wow. I would love for this whole committee to come join me every Monday or Friday and just introduce me to every meeting that I'm going to go to. Because the love that I feel with that introduction is just very overwhelming. It is a full circle moment for me, for sure. The last time that I was in this building was a few months ago, but the last time I was on the stage was June 2nd, 1990. So 3 of those people that are in the second row know that day very well. This day we graduated Sacred Heart Academy. It's hard to believe that was over 30 years ago. And that the class of 1990 is also starting to celebrate a different milestone with a very significant birthday that starts with thanks. But we're not here to talk about 2050. We are here to celebrate each other. We are here to talk about experience. We're here to talk about being present, moving forward, and having an impact. First, I want to thank Sacred Heart Academy and everyone who put their faith in honoring me for Justice and Peace Award this year. It's really an honor. It's something that I definitely grew into at Sacred Heart in the 80s, but it was something that was instilled in me by my parents and my grandparents, because that was life. We had to engage in social justice. We had to engage in peace back in the 60s and the 70s. That's what we had to do. So it was infused in my DNA very early, and I had the opportunity to foster that need and drive to do what was right. I want to thank Sister Jean, President Graham, for embracing me in a new way. Last year was a very tumultuous year for many different reasons, and Sacred Heart put out a feeler and a couple of statements and asked the alum to be engaged in a different way. So for me, this is just a continuation from 1986. When I was 14 years old, and some of the people that are sitting in the second row, I would reach out to them and say, okay, we're going to hang up posters for Black History Month. And I would give out posters and we would hang them up and just do different things. So this really is a culminating moment for me. I want to thank my family for always telling me, well, why don't you try it? Why don't you go ahead and do it? I want to thank fellow class of 1990 women, Peggy Moore, Judge Roderick, Maria Lardy. They all, at the drop of a dime, I texted, called them, and said, this is happening on Friday. They rearranged their schedules. They're very important people, too. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Side note, I've been friends with Judge Roderick and Peggy Moore since we were 8, so since 3rd grade. And our relationship has shifted and morphed, and it doesn't matter. You just have friends that you may not speak to for a couple of months, or maybe even a year, but if you send a text, you reach out on the phone, it's like you saw them yesterday. So I appreciate the three of you for being here, and I love you very much. So I do have a message for the women who are students at Sacred Heart Academy in connection to your role in justice and peace. And I think I have maybe 5 things that you need to think about. Some of it's homework, but hopefully nothing too daunting. As you start your first week of school, I know that we have all come off of this summer reading list. Yes? Raise your hand if you completed your summer reading list. There should be more hands up. Okay. So I'm going to tell you to continue to read. Read, read, read. Read everything you get your hands on. Read from different perspectives. Read in different genres. Read from authors that are lesser known. Get a cross-section of experiences. If you are interested in history, get history from different points of view and not just one perspective. How empowering is it to read a history book from the perspective of the people that may have been the oppressed and not the oppressor, the people that were marginalized, not the people that were inflicting the parameters. You will get a broader understanding of what is happening, what has happened, and where we are and why we're here. So I encourage you all to read. When you have the opportunity to get more information, you actually encourage and get more perspective on people as a whole. So the second assignment I have for you all is to see people with your mind and your heart. Oftentimes we hear people say, I don't see color. I don't see disability. I don't see religion. I don't see gender. And I challenge you to take that concept and turn it on its head and never say that again. Because when you say that, you are disrespecting the person that is in front of you. You are disrespecting the people that you're speaking of. I challenge you all to see everything. See color, see religion, see identity, see perspective. Because when you see that, you truly see people and you create a sense of awareness and empathy. To say that you don't see it is turning a blind eye, and you don't want to do that. When you truly see people, you can see where they stand in their intersectionality, right? That's a new word that comes up, but really all that means is this is where a person sits in life. This is where a person stands in life. And we all have intersections, right? When those intersections are blocked, when they're violated, when they're obstructed, then you have things that cause reaction, whether it's the need for the Don Lewis Voting Rights Act that was mentioned before about voting rights, right? Whether it's having to have a Crown Act passed so that African American men and women can wear their hair naturally. That shouldn't have to be a law, but it has to be put forth so that people's intersections can be experienced and lived. When you hear things like Stop Asian American Pacific Islander Hate, AAPI hate, when you hear things like Black Lives Matter, when you hear things like love is love, these are all responses to obstruction of someone's identity. So if you are able to see someone with your mind and your heart, you will be able to understand where a person sits. And then the next challenge for that is, what are you going to do to help clear that obstruction? What are you going to do to clear that roadblock? Are you going to just sit and say, this is none of my business? Or are you going to be an active participant in making sure that everyone has a sense of belonging? That is your role. I have a homework assignment specifically for the freshmen. Sorry. First week of school. There are so many opportunities at Sacred Heart Academy. Figure out where you want to belong and insert yourself. And then stay involved. And then appreciate and support people who have chosen a different path. Whether that's the travel club, well, whether that's Red and Gold Team Victory, by the way. Say that again, GTV. Still love the Red Team, right? Gold Team Victory all day. But stay involved in whatever you will, but respect and support the others who are taking a different path. I did not participate in any of the plays, but the plays were amazing. I went to every play. Oklahoma was my favorite. I forgot which year was that. Do you remember which year that was? Maybe junior year? But Oklahoma was great, and it was exciting, and people were very invigorated and supportive. There were people that came to the volleyball matches. We won states several years, and we had buses of people come to watch our games. So stay involved, get involved, stay involved. The last assignment is specifically for the seniors. Where are my seniors? Raise your hands. Congratulations. You must be very proud. Make this the year of your life. There's something so important and special about senior year of high school. It's really the real wonder year. I know the wonder years is rebooting and it looks amazing and we talk about middle school, but the wonder year for me in particular was senior year in high school. You're applying to colleges, you're looking at what the next step of your adult life will be, and you have so many opportunities to branch out and expose yourselves to different experiences. So whether your path is military, or trade school, or a gap year, or college, expose yourself to opportunities that you may not have been exposed to. When you're registering for those college courses, insert some really diverse elective courses. Think about, what have I always wanted to learn but didn't have a chance to? You are embarking in that space where you'll be able to make that happen. In closing, I want you to think of justice as just not a word, but as an action. Justice could be looked at and viewed as, if you think metaphorically, think of planting a seed or a young plant. Justice are those things that you plant to make sure that people feel welcome, belonging, they have their civil rights. So we're not talking about, just small things, but institutionalized belonging. There's so many different ways to think about justice. And the interesting part about justice work is you may not see the strength of that immediately. When you plant something, you have to nurture it, you have to let it grow, you have to pay attention to it, you have to revisit it, you have to prune it, you have to make adjustments. Justice can be considered all of those actions, and the end result is peace. When you put the effort into justice, peace will prevail. I want to thank this whole committee. I want to thank the faculty, and I want to thank you all, freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. Make the most out of this amazing experience. It's an opportunity that a lot of other people don't get. Capitalize on it, utilize it, and one day you'll realize 31 years later that you will be in a space where you're standing on the stage looking at hundreds of young women. Some of them, I think, are daughters of classmates, I believe. So I think we have a couple of daughters of the class of 1990, so tell your mom I said hi. But you will have the opportunity to take this full circle. And it's an awesome feeling, it's an amazing feeling, and it's surreal. So I want to thank everybody. Have a wonderful, wonderful school year. Congratulations. I'm a favorite of seniors a little bit because it's so special. Congratulations, 10 months early, but you guys are getting ready to graduate. That's amazing. That's amazing. Enjoy it. Enjoy everything about it. For the freshmen, the sophomores, and juniors, your aspiration is to get to this section of campus. That's for sure. Thank you all again. I am going to stay connected. You will not see me disappear. I will stay connected. I have one more thank you, and I should have said this earlier. Daria, thank you for meeting me in Grand Central about a year and a half ago, saying, I want you to re-engage with Sacred Heart. And that kind of, was a springboard for this new encouragement. So thank you all. Best of luck. I appreciate